Alrighty, everybody, welcome in to No Such Time Domain. Let me see something here. What is going on? Let's see something. That thing's still not updated. I think it might be update time for the computer. Alright, one more time. Check something. Alright, there we go. We got people in here now. Alright, I'm always curious as to how many people are watching this open stream. Alright, so, yeah. So, I want to talk about something before I start reading here. Like I normally do. We're on, as you can see, chapters 16, 17, and 18. Okay, so now I'm gonna throw something out there. Okay, um, I've run into a group of people who are the internet people, who are the people on the internet that go and they, end up catching the bad guy. All right, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're people just like me doing their average everyday stuff and they end up like I normally the way I normally find out somebody's doing something wrong, and this is just how I've done it, and this is through God actually, is like I always end up stumbling upon this stuff. I don't always end up like outright finding it. I normally end up like sing like I normally end up having, and I don't blame people for stuff normally. I just normally I fall into stuff. So I'll see stuff normally just play out, and you can always see it just play out in front of you. Now, if you're like me, you're able to catch on to this stuff and you're able to see it. Now, when I normally end up saying something weird is going on with somebody, it's because I've seen situations play out with that specific person that I do feel is extremely weird. I just don't go around blaming people. Unfortunately, people think I do that. But no, I have to see a situation play out a certain way. Like example, as of recently, I did something. Now, I'm still talking to one of the people, but the other one I have on block because the situation still looks shady as it is, and I'm not making any more big deals about it, but I did bring it to light that there's people can say stuff online all day and look a certain way all day, and a lot of these people, that are playing the hero are sitting behind, you know, they're sitting behind an anime picture. And that's normal procedure for these people. Now, if they are doing the right thing, praise God, praise the Lord that they're doing the right thing. But sometimes people think they're doing the right thing and aren't always doing the right thing. So, example, you know, you gotta be more prepared to see stuff happening than you've ever been prepared in your life. And that's how you end up finding out if somebody's doing something wrong. Sometimes you just gotta let situations play out and the situation will show itself. That's how I live. That's how I live by things. In fact, I saw that happen like about 2 weeks ago where somebody, this is going back to a situation that I actually had on lock, and then out of nowhere, like a week after that, no, 2 weeks after that, they're on the internet, like now, where they're getting their mugshot taken and stuff like that. And it's weird because, one of my personal favorite streamers and YouTubers, they are connecting with this person. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing connecting with that person after that person was in a lot of trouble to begin with? And it's going to spiral and get out of control because they connected with that person, and now like it just looks kind of strange that they have finally connected. They're connecting with that person. I don't know. And I find it extremely weird. But like nobody's actually has been doing anything about it, and I have called him out numerous times for what he's doing. And unfortunately, the man, I don't know if he has learned yet, but he's going to learn eventually that if he keeps doing what he's doing, where he's not listening to things and the way people go and stuff like that. He's going to end up with consequences. That's just how things go. If you can't go through life assuming that something you did isn't going to have a consequence, because eventually it is, but sometimes you have to let things play out, and God will point you and direct you where the bad situation's going on. That's how I used God. That's how, like, God works for me. God works for me in showing me bad situations and showing me sometimes bad situations and bad people before the bad situations come around. So if I'm warning people about something, sometimes you see it play out. Well, most times you see it play out, and then you sit there and you're like, I start end up being the guy that, like, I know that people praise my heroship, but sometimes people look at me like I'm a bad guy, and it's because I don't have visions, but I have these strong feelings that something is going to happen, and it radiates of darkness from. That's one of the gifts God gave me a long time ago that people don't really they don't really pick up and see that I've had that gift from God, that everybody that doesn't believe in God doesn't believe I have that, but I do. I pick up on that all the time. In fact, like I said the other day, a situation played out that I was like, okay, well, this whole situation's kind of weird that this played out like this. Maybe there's something there that I should be like. I just I just kept having a feeling about it, but I didn't really say anything until, like, you know 2 days ago. I said something where, after it played out, like a day after it happened, um, I pointed out that this could be the possibility of why this happened and why this person is being this way, and I'm just susceptible to things like that. It's just something I picked up on, and something that God gave me a while ago that I cannot explain, but I have that wisdom in me about knowing when there's bad stuff about to happen. Unfortunately, it happens far too much, and really, reality of the truth is nobody pays attention to me sometimes, and sometimes people believe I'm crazy. But I could have, I could have told you that we're at a point now where, like, we're finally seeing the cause and effect of the strong, independent woman. All right, women are out there now in their late 30s complaining about not being married, not having children. Well, I could have told you that like 10 years ago that that was going to happen. But again, nobody listens to me. The cause and effect of something goes on forever. And when you let something play out, you might not see it right away, but over the course of time, you start seeing the causes and effect of what happens. And that's all it really is cause and effect. And we're at a stage now where people were just letting, like, people literally let bad things be okay. And that's the cause and effect of, what's gonna happen off of that is we'll be the fall of Rome. We'll be just like the fall of Rome here in America because of cause and effect over time, you know? And we're at a point now where, like, the you know, somebody pointed out to me, and this is just a bad thing, it's not bad to say, they're pointing it out as it is, but the interracial breeding is causing the destruction of white people. It is. It's causing destruction of white people. And in the next 10 years, I can guarantee you, we're going to see, well, after I'm dead, people are going to see less and less white people. White people won't exist anymore. Watch. You'll see it. And it's because we're so far away. It's, of it, we've been destroyed. We've been destroyed. And I know that's hard for people to take in, but that is happening right now as we speak. You know? And that's why it's best to, when you go out and you date and stuff like that. I listened to what they had to say, and they said when you go out and date, it's best you go and pick, you know, if you're like me, you pick a light-skinned woman instead of breeding with an African American woman, because the difference is you're gonna keep that light skin feature in your family line, as opposed to outbreeding into a different genre. Like it, I know it sounds kind of harsh to say, but that's just something that I looked at it too. I was like, wait, you have a very very valid point. And there's a lot of stuff going on now that if you stand there and you look at it, you can see exactly what it is I mean. But a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people don't want to look at it as it is. They want to look at it, they want to look at it, but they want to glance at it. They don't want to look at it deeply. And sometimes you have to look at something deeply to get an understanding of how bad something really is. And some people will overlook the stuff that's going on right now, like the lust, the African American men lusting over white women. There's so much of that going on the internet, but we overlook that because we believe we're just like, they're just dating. It's all okay. But the reality, the truth is, you have to look at it a little bit deeper to see exactly what I mean. Because the white people are on the verge of being wiped out due to that. Due to that. And I'm not trying to be mean, but we're on the brink of extinction. That's what we're on the brink of. And that's why I haven't dated in like years. We're on the brink of extinction. Nobody wants me to get near a white woman. And that's the cold hard truth. People get mad at me when I get near. People get mad at me, extremely furious with me when I get near, when I was simping over Melanie Mack. People got mad at me over that. But I see her as a beautiful white woman. And, and she's looking for a white guy to make children with and get married to. And that's the moral of it. And people fight against that all the time. So they're hoping to see that she goes with somebody else that's not of her own type. And that's where the whole thing gets messed up. And this is what God wanted. God wanted me to chase her down. God still wants me to kind of chase her down. Even though I'm like, this is getting harder and harder because people on here on earth are preventing that from happening. And that's just where I sit when I see a lot of things. It's hard to take in, but all right. Let's get into starting this. Korah, Dathan, and Abimram. Korah, son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and certain Reubenites, Dathan, and Abimram, son of Elab, and son of Pethel, became insolent and rose up against Moses. With them were 250 Israelite men, well-known community leaders who had been appointed members of the council. They came as a group to oppose Moses and Aaron and said to them, "Have you gone too far? The whole community is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is with them. Why then do you set yourself above the Lord's assembly?" When Moses heard this, he fell face down. Then he said to Korah and all his followers, "In the morning the Lord will show who belongs to him and who is holy, and he will have that person come near him. The men he chose he will cause to come near him. And you, Korah, and all your followers are to do this. Take a censer, and tomorrow put burning coal and incense into them before the Lord. The man the Lord chose will be the one who is holy. And you Levites have gone too far." Moses also said to Korah, "Now listen, you Levites, isn't it enough for you that God of Israel has separated you from the rest of the Israelites community and brought you near himself to do work at the Lord's tabernacle and to stand before the community and minister to them? He brought you and all your fellow Levites near himself, but now you are trying to get the priesthood too. It is against the Lord that you and all your followers have banded together. Who is Aaron that you should grumble against? So, Moses is trying to say, hey, it isn't me that's your problem. It's Moses, and you need to start like going up against him instead of worrying about me, you know? And this is an example of like, okay, so we see it here. Moses has God with him in a big way, okay? And so you're seeing the cause and effect of what it's like to have God with you. You're gonna see Moses be the outcast and everybody go against him. And that's just how things have gone. So then Moses summoned Dathan and Abraham, son of Eliab, but they said, "We will not come. Isn't it enough that you have brought us up out of the land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness? And now you also want to lord it. Now you also want to lord it over to us. Moreover, you haven't brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, or given us any inheritance of the field of vineyards. Do you want to treat these men like slaves? No, we will not come." Have not taken so much as a donkey from them, nor have I wronged any of them. Moses said to Korah, "You and all your followers are to appear before the Lord tomorrow. You and they and Aaron, each man, is to take his censer and put incense in it, 250 censers in all, and present it before the Lord. You and Aaron are to present your censer also." So each of them took his censer, put burning coals and incense in it, and stood with Moses and Aaron at the entrance of the tent of meeting. When Korah had gathered all his followers in opposition to them at the entrance to the tent of meeting, the glory of the Lord appeared to the entire assembly. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Separate yourselves from this assembly, so I can put an end to them at once." But Moses and Aaron fell face down and cried out, "O God, the God who gives breath to all living things, will you be angry with the entire assembly when only one man sins?" The Lord said to Moses, "Say to the assembly, move away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." Moses got up and went to Dathan, and Abiram and the elders of Israel followed him. He warned the assembly, "Move back from the tent of the wicked men. Do not touch anything belonging to them, or you will be swept away because of all their sins." So they moved away from the tent of Korah. Dathan and Abiram had come out and were stumbling with their wives, children, and little ones at the entrance to their tents. Then Moses said, "This is how you will know that the Lord has sent me to do all these things, and that it was not my idea. If these men die a natural death and suffer the fate of all mankind, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord brings about something totally new, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them with everything that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the realm of the dead, then you will know that these men have treated the Lord with contempt." As soon as he finished saying all this, the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them and their households and all those associated with Korah together with their possessions. They went down alive into the realm of the dead, and everything they owned, the earth closed over them, and they perished and were gone from the community. At their cries, all the Israelites around them fled, shouting, the earth is going to swallow us too." So, uh, what was that called? So the realm of the dead is essentially what they called hell in the Bible. It's called the realm of the dead. Basically, the earth opened up and people fell into it, and because God was disrespected by everybody, he just was like, okay, I'm gonna open this portion of the earth up for you, and you're gonna fall into it because I'm just pissed right now. And that's what God did when he was like, well, you guys aren't listening to me. So when you keep not listening to me, guess what? The earth is going to open up and eat you. So, all right. And fire came out from the Lord and consumed 250 men who were offering incense. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, to remove the censer from the charred remains and scattered coal some distance away, for the censers are holy. The censers of the men who sinned at the cost of their life hammered the censer into sheets to overlay the altar, for they were presented before the Lord and have become holy. Let them be a sign to the Israelites." So yeah, God's furious. You heard that he just killed like 250 men with fire. So you have to remember, sometimes God will get mad and he'll just be like, "You need to stop." So Eleazar, the priest, collected the bronze censer brought up by those who had been burned to death, and he had them hammered out the overlay as the Lord directed him through Moses. This was to remind the Israelites that no one except a descendant of Aaron should come to burn incense before the Lord. He would become like Korah and his followers. So, yeah, so this one leader, as you can see, he killed off his like entire camp, I guess, or like most of his camp, or like whoever Korah is. I don't think Korah was one of the leaders, one of the tribe leaders. But yeah, this definitely took cause and effect of what they did. So the next day, the whole Israelite community grumbling against Moses and Aaron, "You have killed the Lord's people," they said. But when the assembly gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron and turned towards the tent of meeting, suddenly the cloud covered it and the glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron went to the front of the tent of meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, "Get away from this assembly so I can put an end to them at once." And they fell face down. Man, he's mad right now. So just think of that. A cloud the Lord creates, comes over your whole entire area, and he just said, "Get away, let me put an end to them at once." What would you do? If you knew the cloud was capable of like harming people, what would you do? I would definitely run. I'd be like, "This is no joke, dude. This is wild. Let's get the heck out of here." And then people would probably call me crazy because I saw a cloud that killed a bunch of people. That's something, man. That's something. Then Moses said to Aaron, "Take your censer and incense. Take your censer and put incense in it, along with burning coal from the altar, and hurry to the assembly to make atonement for them. Wrath has come out from the Lord. The plague has started." So Aaron did as Moses said, and ran into the midst of the assembly. The plague had already started among the people, but Aaron offered the incense and made atonement for them. He stood between the living and the dead, and the plague stopped. But 1,000, 14,700 people died from the plague, in addition to those who died because Korah. Then Aaron returned to Moses at the entrance up to the tent of meeting, for the plague stopped. You know, and so, I don't, you know, God is furious here now. Like he's showing everybody his power. We just saw like 14,000 men died. We just saw him kill like 250 with fire. The tent, is a cloud. He just basically killed people with a cloud. So yeah, he's mad because all they did, all they did is they did a bunch of stuff that wasn't acquiring them to even listen to Moses, or listen to God's command. And so we see the cause and effect of what that kind of stuff does. And that's the thing is like when, again, cause and effect is a lot of things. Cause and effect takes place even today. If you're sitting there and you think like you're okay to do things right now, at some point later on down the road, everything everything that you think is okay right now, that's very, very bad of you, catches up to you later. You have to understand there's a cause and effect. The Lord was giving these people time to get corrected, and because he gave them time, the Lord's just like, okay, let me just like, let me kill a bunch of people right now because you aren't listening, man. You aren't listening. You're like a bunch of children. And, that's the most brutal way to put it. But that's just how, everything goes. Unfortunately, we see the cause and effect of a lot of stuff in today's age. And it's really, really hard for people to put together, especially when they don't want to listen. Listening and understanding and being mindful of everyone around you. We became mindful, but we became mindful in the worst way. We became mindful of everything that's horrible instead of everything that's actually good. So that's why we live in the world we do today. And that's why, I could go back into the 90s before the internet and everything took place, and I can guarantee you, even the start of the internet was a lot easier than it is now. Like the internet's just one of the worst places ever for anybody. And even everybody's out there continuously trolling. Everybody's out there continuously like picking on each other, giving people a hard time, internet bullying, and stuff like that. And a lot of these people will sit again behind a fake picture that genuinely plays a part of a cartoon character. I noticed that quite frequently, that the people that troll the most are the people who sit behind an anime type picture, a cartoon character to be exact. And that's something that even with these people that have a cartoon picture, I'm still cautious about like things because they really, really could be, playing devil's advocate here and playing, different procedures of it, and just something to think about. All right. Budding of Aaron's staff. All right, chapter 17. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and get 12 staffs from them, one from the leader of each of their ancestral tribes. Write the name of each man on his staff. On the staff of Levi, write Aaron's name, for there must be one staff for the head of each ancestral tribe. Place them in a tent of meeting in front of the Ark of the Covenant. Lay where I meet them the staff belonging to the man who chose will sprout. The man who I chose will sprout, and I will rid myself of constant grumbling against you by the Israelites." So Moses spoke to the Israelites, and their leader gave him 12 staffs, one from each leader of each of the ancestral tribes. And Aaron's staff was among them. Moses placed Aaron's staff before the Lord in the tent of the covenant law. The next day, Moses entered the tent and saw that Aaron's staff, which represented the tribe of Levi, had now only sprouted, but had budded blossoms and produced almonds. Then Moses brought out all the staffs from the Lord's presence to all the Israelites. They looked at them, and each of their leaders looked at his own staff. The Lord said to Moses, "Put back Aaron's staff in front of the Ark of the Covenant law to keep as a sign to the rebellious. This will put an end to their grumbling against me, so that they will not die." Moses did just as the Lord commanded him. The Israelites said to Moses, "Will we die? We are lost. We are all lost. Anyone who even comes near the tabernacle of the Lord will die. Are you willing to die? Are you all going to die?" So, yeah, this is getting pretty hectic when it comes down to it. So, like, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on with Aaron. This just shows you the complete chaos when people aren't believing and, people aren't following God's orders or God's commands and just want to do whatever they want. It's just, this is how it goes, and this is, again, this is why we're seeing such bad stuff go on right in front of us every single day. Like when you look at the internet, this stuff actually seeps off the internet now too. Like I've witnessed this go on in real life. And it's incredibly crazy to see like how things from the internet affect people's lines of thinking. It's incredibly crazy that it affects people's lines of thinking that much. And that's why I believe that a lot of people are out there, playing devil's advocate and trying to place blame and point fingers on people when they have no actual physical evidence, and stuff like that. So this is the way I handle stuff. I have to let it get to a point where things look extremely weird, and that's how you find out what's going on. You get to a point where you start seeing really bizarre stuff play out, and you end up like learning that way, because that's the only way to learn anything, is to let things play out. If you hold something back from playing out, then you never learn anything, and nobody ever gets in trouble, and you never see the truth of things come about. If you were to let things just play out, and understand that you need to let them play out before you can get your bad guy, well, then you ain't gonna get your bad guy. Just some point to I had to point out there, but getting the bad guy, it takes time for things to play out, and sometimes you think you got your bad guy and you think you're predicting it, but more or less sometimes you have to really let things play out to see who actually is the bad guy here, and that's these people don't want to follow God, and over the course of time they're all coming to Moses thinking Moses is the bad guy. Well, Moses isn't the bad guy. The reality of the truth is there's a whole bunch of other people out around him that are actually being the bad guy right now, and God's mad at them for it, because God appointed Moses as the leader, and Moses is still trying to follow God's commands, while Aaron's made mistakes. Aaron's made a lot of mistakes. If you look back earlier on, Aaron left these people, do worship to a different god while God was on the mountain. And think about how God saw that when he went. Think about how God felt about that. So this is just some food for thought, but it's best not to point fingers and let things play out. Unfortunately, that's just how it has to be. Sometimes you have to let things play out for you to get your answers. And I'm there's people I watch on the internet that I'm like, are they about to change? Are they about to go away from who they are? And I question that all the time. But then I literally see stuff play out that's a lot different than I think. So, yeah, I can't always predict things that are right, but sometimes I can. And sometimes you have to let things play out. Otherwise, you can't get your bad guy you think you got as the bad guy. That's just, we gotta have to stop having this mentality, guilty until proven innocent. All right? Back in the day, it was innocent until proven guilty. So the way things worked is you let people make their mistakes. If you suspected something and they make that mistake, they are then proved guilty. Then you have every right in the world to actually show that physical evidence and proof of them doing something wrong. Don't just sit there and take as an example. I say something right now that's really outlandish and all that. People record that. All right? And because I said that, it's shown around and people aren't waiting for it to come out, but they'll sit there and point fingers and none of it even happens. So then what? You have no answer to what you think, and your line of thinking has just drove you nuts to a point where you're still trying to place blame and point fingers. The reality, the truth is, you are guilty until proven innocent. Until you are guilty until you are 100% proven. You are innocent until you are 100% proven guilty, and that's how things have always worked. But we live in a generation now where everybody's guilty of something. If you're not part of their group, you're an outcast. You're guilty of something, and sometimes they'll try to throw you under the bus to try to make it look like you're doing exactly what they blame you of. And the reality of the truth is that's not how it works. So just some food for thought. It's guilty until no, innocent until proven guilty is what the moral of the story should be. But we don't follow that. All right. Duties of the priests and Levites. Chapter 18. The Lord said to Aaron, "You, your sons, and your family are to bear responsibility for offenses connected with the sanctuary. You and your sons alone are to bear the responsibility for offenses connected to the priesthood. Bring your fellow Levites from your ancestral tribe to join you and assist you when you and your sons minister before the tent of the covenant of law. They are to be responsible to you and are to perform all duties of the tent, but they must not go near the furnishing of the sanctuary or the altar, otherwise both they and you will die. They are to join you and be responsible for the care of the tent of meeting. All the work at the tent, and no one else may come near where you are. You are to be responsible for the care of the sanctuary and the altar, so that my wrath will not fall on Israelites again. I myself have selected you fellow Levites from among the Israelites as a gift to you, dedicated to the Lord, to do the work at the tent of meeting. But only you and your sons may serve as priests in connection with everything at the altar inside the curtain. I am giving you the service of the priesthood as a gift. Anyone else who comes near the sanctuary is to be put to death." All right, offering the priests and Levites. Offering for the priest and Levites. Sorry, my nose itches. The Lord said to Aaron, "I myself have put you in charge of the offerings presented to me. All the holy offerings the Israelites give me, I give to you and your sons as your portion. Your perpetual share You are to have the part of the most holy offerings that is kept from the fire. From all the gifts they bring me as most holy offerings, whether grain or sin or guilt offerings, that that part belongs to you and your sons. Eat it as something most holy. Every male shall eat it. You must regard it as holy. This also is this also is yours, whatever is set aside from the gifts of all the wave offerings of the Israelite. I gave this to you and your sons and your daughters as a perpetual share. Everyone in your household who is ceremonially clean may eat it. I give you all the finest oil and all the finest new wine and grain they give the Lord as a first fruit of their harvest. All the land's first fruit that they bring to the Lord will be yours. Everyone in your house who Everyone in your household who is ceremonially clean may eat it. Everything in Israel that is devoted to the Lord is yours. The first offspring of every womb, both human and animal, that is offered to the Lord is yours. But you must redeem every firstborn son and every firstborn male to unclean animals. When they are both old, you must redeem them at the redemption price, set at 5 shekels of silver, according to the sanctuary shekels, which weighs 20 gerahs. But you must not redeem the firstborn of a cow, a sheep, or a goat. They are holy. Splash their blood against the altar and burn their fat as food, offering an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Their meat is to be yours, just as the breast of the wave offering and the right thigh are yours. Whatever is set aside from the holy offering the Israelites presents to the Lord, I give to you and your son and daughter as a perpetual share. It is an everlasting covenant of salt before the Lord for both you and your offspring. The Lord said to Aaron, you will have no inheritance in their land, nor will you have any share among them. I am your share. I am your share and your inheritance among the Israelites. I give to the Levites all the tithes in Israel as their inheritance in return for the work they do while serving all the tent of meeting. From now on, the Israelite must go near the tent of meeting, or they will bear the consequences of their sin and will die. It is the Levites who are to do the work at the tent meeting and bear the responsibility for the offenses they commit against. This is a lasting ordinance for the generation to come. They will receive no inheritance among the Israelites. Instead, I give to the Levites as their inheritance the tithes that the Israelites present as an offering to the Lord. That is why I said concerning them, they will have no inheritance among the Israelites. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the Levites and say to them, when you receive from the Israelites the tithe I give you as your inheritance, you must present a tenth of the tithe as the Lord's offering. Your offering will be reckoned to you as a grain from the threshing floor or juice from the winepress. In this way, you also will present an offering to the Lord from all the tithes you receive from the Israelites. From these tithes you must give the Lord's portion to Aaron the priest. You must present as the Lord's portion the best and holiest part of everything given to you. Say to the Levites, when you present the best part, it will be reckoned to you as the product of the threshing floor or the winepress. You and your household may eat the rest of it anywhere, for it is your wages for your work at the tent of meeting. By presenting the best part of it, you will not be... Man, somebody was furious in my chat. Guilty in this matter, then you will not defile the holy offering of the Israelites, and you will not die. All right. So the Lord's just saying, hey, you can do all this stuff, and you won't die if you do all this stuff. I don't know why somebody put a bunch of 6s in my chat. Like, I'm deleting this because this is just insane. I don't know why people like come in here and be weird like that, you know? Somebody must be either mad or trolling me. I can't tell sometimes if they're mad or trolling me. And it's unfortunate because, you know, people come in and they do stuff like that all the time, you know, and I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing here. But in case you had wondered, we are on to chapter 19. That's why I stopped. We're on chapter 19 now. We're like probably, I don't know. Let me see how far we are. I know I do this every day, but we're getting closer and closer to the next book, which is pretty awesome. All right, so 36. All right, so we got a little bit yet. Like, I'd probably say next week we'll be done with this book. So, look forward to that. But yeah, I don't know why people come in and just, you know, are like this with me. This is something I see quite often happen, and I'm just like, it is what it is. But people are always gonna be over dramatic about stuff. That's something I picked up on and learned about a lot of things. And it's like, there's so many people that are just over dramatic about stuff, and that, you know, that's part of the reason why that's part of the reason why we are the way we are right now. People love being over dramatic about stuff, and I don't exactly understand about it. I don't exactly understand it. Like example, like there's, you know, like example, people are over dramatic about people making connections. You know, it's at that point where it's just like fully and extremely weird for people to get mad about people making connections. But yes, people actually get mad when somebody makes a connection with somebody that they, you know, they don't want to see. So they get dramatic about it, and then they try to, like, you know, keep it from happening. So, and it's just, you know, and I'm not saying that kind of stuff just to say it, but, you know, hence why I don't have a Valentine right now. And, you know, and, you know, that's just something that people put me through. You got a bunch of people out there like me. You know, I almost had a Valentine Day this year. I almost had a Valentine this year, to be honest, and it would have been cool to have it. But at the end of the day, the whole holiday is just about a guy, you know, who died. You know, it's not, you know, it's celebrating a man of Christian, yeah, but it's about a holiday who died. And you know, for me to have a Valentine, it would have been pretty awesome to see. Out of all this time I like didn't have a Valentine for the past few years. But people just do not like seeing people get in relationships. And that's something I noticed, is like some people are so zealous. Oh, yeah, is zealous the word? You know, people are so willing to make sure things don't happen for certain people, cuz you know, the person I have on block in the Discord is one of those people who make sure they don't like when people, like, they're literally the only person I know that sits online all day, plays games, and blames people and stuff, and then is a hypocrite, and gets on everybody's case, gets on my case particularly about stuff. I don't know why I became the problem to them, but I just did. And they'll sit there and they've done it. I've witnessed them do it numerous times in different discords, and this is how I know this person just has it out for me, or they have some weird obsession for me. They take pictures of things I say because they've upset me, and then they repost them in places to try to make me look like a horrible human being. When in reality, the truth is, you can sit there and talk to me, and you can tell that I'm a different human being than what this person's playing me as. And that's the point. That's the part of it that That's the part of it that people still don't understand. That's the part of it people don't get. You can see me be. You can see me as You can see me as one type of person in the eyes of another person, or you can actually talk to me as a person and get to know me and understand me. And people are so busy trying to make people look like this bad person, and like I said earlier on, guilty until you are proven innocent. I mean, you are okay. So now that's not how it goes. That's how Gen Z sees it. That's how today's society sees it. You're guilty until you're proven innocent. But back before the internet and everybody sitting there blaming people for stuff, it was you were guilty until you're proven innocent. And I still to this day I have that mentality here and now. But a lot of people place blame on people. All right. And we're so busy doing that, and the uproar of people just being completely stupid over a statement that, they go by now. I don't know why it is that Gen Z, they follow this statement where everybody's guilty until they're proven innocent. And if you're not part of their clique, you're proven guilty, even if you're not proven innocent. Even if you're proven innocent. That's just so absurd that I don't even like it. And that's why I have trouble becoming friends with people. That's just how it goes. But this whole mentality of blaming people and then making them out to be guilty until you have actual evidence of them being guilty, there is no guilty until you prove it. There is no guilty until you're proven innocent. There's guilty until you're proven innocent, but you're still guilty. That's the way Gen Z always works, and that's why Gen Z is so dysfunctional, because they don't want to believe in good side of things. Gen Z lives on depression. Gen Z lives on anxiety. Gen Z and people on the internet, they live on anxiety. They fuel on people having a bad time. They fuel on that stuff. So when they see you're having a bad time, they're having a good day. And that's why they do what they do. Gen Z is by far the worst group of people on the face of the planet. They did so much damage. They did more than they realized, and I don't know why we let them have control over everything. I don't know why we let them have control over everything. Because back in the day, when I was growing up, we didn't get control like that. But now Gen Z was given control, and they've realized that they've initially messed up everything. They're actually starting to show concern for themselves. And there's so many posts on how we're in this time where we're literally in this time where people are now picking up that, oh, we've made a mistake 10 years after we've made a mistake, or oh, we're suffering 10 years later because we chose to be a strong independent woman. So did you not think this was going to happen in the long run? Everything has a cause and effect. Everything. And if you can't understand that, you should start taking notes. That's why everybody's coming back the way they are and feeling some sort of way. I can guarantee you. There's people out there that probably feel horrible for what they did to me now in this point in age, but still will say that I was the problem. Even though I know that things take effect later on. They just don't think about it when they first do it. And so now it's taken effect. Why is it that for the longest time I ended up being the guy that I was so aware of what was going on, that I chose not to partake in a lot of the stuff. The only thing that I remember I did was I went to a protest a little while ago with the group that I thought was actually awesome. And after a while of following it, like it took me 2 years to come to a couple years to come to the realization that I'm not a fan of them. They don't really do much. They cause more problems than they do good. Any human being out there any human being out there, not willing to, you know, any human being out there that continues to place blame and point fingers at somebody. And this is I know I do that, but it's very often I do that. I wait for the right time to be placing blame on anybody for something. I wait till a certain thing happens, and then I'll be like, okay, I see what's going on here now. And then that's when I will literally point my finger and say something. And still, even then, I'm an outcast because I didn't see what everybody else saw from the get-go. So, that's how I handle stuff. I'm an outcast. I'm God's outcast, though. I'm somebody that God has chosen to do incredible things, but society doesn't really see it. And so that's why I know right now we live in a society where it's different now. That everybody thinks they're playing the hero, when in reality the truth is they're playing the bad guy. A lot of people are, you know. And I explained it to a couple people. I'm like, look, this whole finger pointing thing, you have to wait and let things play out before you can actually blame anybody else's stuff. That's why so many people are getting in trouble for things they didn't even do right now, to be honest. Like, that's why, like, I look at it this way. Like, everything is so bad right now that you could be doing absolutely nothing. Like, right now, I'll be sitting here, and somebody has a problem with me just sitting here talking about this, you know? And I can guarantee you, I don't know who they are, but they probably have plotting revenge in their head right now, which is what people like that always do. And if not, that's fine too. But it's just something to take into consideration, that at the end of the day, if you're not always going to be right about everything. And accusing people, you have to have a motive to accuse them. You have to have a clear motive. And if they don't, after the first time, or after the small hint of it, you have to wait until it all plays out. And then once the actual thing plays out, the evidence of it, then you can say, okay, I was right. And then you go and you make a big deal about it, because that's what has to happen. You don't go and make a big deal about something before the actual evidence of it happens, and that's why I do what I do. I wait for the evidence to actually pop up, and then you get your answers. But hey, people don't work like that. I'm a lot different than people, and you'll see that about me, that I choose to look at things differently. I wait until the actual thing happens. And when I see something happen, and believe me, I normally see it happen, and I try to point it out. But there's people that are so good at hiding what they do that's actually potentially wrong, and they put they still try to. He did it. He's being a bad guy right now. He's being a big meanie. Yeah, tell me about it. I'm the bad guy right now. I'm being a big meanie. Anyway, I'm going to say a prayer, and then I'm going to get out of here. All right. And I will be uploading a short right after this. So, all right. Lord Jesus Christ, I pray to you today that you start putting the knowledge of people in here to stop just placing, you put knowledge on this earth of people, stop placing blame on people, and start letting things just play out. And once they play out, if they have full physical evidence, they have right to go after people. We live in a society that's condemned itself. And as it's condemned itself, we see a lot of bad, and people not picking up on when something's bad, but leave it and will, try to destroy the people that are actually doing the good things, to try to make them look like the bad guy, Lord. And we need to make this stop. We need to make people more aware of this. So, Lord, if you could put something in them that makes them more aware of when they're blaming, not to blame everybody. Lord, I pray that we start going back to this innocent until proven guilty method, because we're in an age where you could be proved innocent, but you're still guilty. And Lord, we need to, we need to go back to that time where you're innocent until you're proven guilty. So, um, Lord, if you could, make us go back to that time. Make us go back to that time period so people can live better, healthier, happier lives. And Lord, make sure these women that chose to be strong, independent women choose to understand they made a mistake, so they need to approach men now and have them find husbands and make families with them. Because Lord, we are at a point now where people are actually suffering for the consequences that they believe to be good, and we're seeing the outcome of everything that happened over the course of time. And Lord, we just need things to go back to the way they were before 10 years ago. So Lord, if you could just kind of shift us back, but don't completely change the time frame, that would be great. Lord, also, if you could put some light into people's life, some protection in people's life, that'd be great, Lord. Um, I also, I pray for me to have a blessed day. I was supposed to have a Valentine's Day, but I didn't have a Valentine. I kind of take it, kind of got messed up again by somebody who, is actually, some, I'm kind of grateful as to what happened. But Lord, I this holiday, we need to start understanding that this holiday was not meant to be celebrated as a good holiday. And Lord, can you make people realize that we're celebrating a bunch of bad holidays? In Jesus' name, amen. So there you go. There you have it. I'm getting out of here. Y'all have a wonderful day. God bless you. Take it easy. And I'll be seeing you later on today for a stream. I'll have a haircut too, so I won't have this long hair anymore. And with that said, guys, take it easy. I'm out of here, and God bless you. Where is it?